Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another Draft Expert video. As you can probably tell by the title, this one will be going over our Week 9 quarterback prospect rankings for the 2026 NFL Draft. If you would be so kind, I would appreciate it if you could go check out the links down in the description. You can check out the blog post at theloganblackmanshow.com, as well as check out links to the podcast available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. All those links will be down below, so make sure to go check those out because the blog post will have more in-depth information than what I'm going to provide you here. Because I'm going to be 100% honest here, the blog posts are a lot harder and take a lot more time and effort than the videos do. So I would really much appreciate it if you would go down and check out the blog post, again, down in the description below. But obviously, check out the YouTube video. Now you're here, make sure to subscribe. If you like the video already, give it a thumbs up. If you're not sure, you're not the most trusting individual, that's fine, understandable. Then wait till the very end and give it a like and leave a comment down below on what your prospect rankings look like. If you love or hate mine, all that great stuff, just let me know down in the comment section below. And this one was fun. I'm not going to lie, this week was pretty fun. And it wasn't the same level of play that we saw last week. Because if you remember when I talked about it last week, Week 8, I thought we saw some of the best quarterback performances of the season. I thought we were very consistent with how all the quarterbacks looked. I think each quarterback had somewhere around 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 clips on their page. Like there was just a lot of really, really good quarterback play. Every single quarterback in the top 10 played as well. So that always makes things a little bit more fun to talk about. But you look at Ty Simpson, what he did against Tennessee. You look at what Fernando Mendoza did against Michigan State. Dante Moore against Rutgers. Look at Lenora Sellers, what he did this past week against Oklahoma. He played well. Though the numbers weren't there, like the eye-popping numbers or anything like that, but he still, I thought, played well against Oklahoma. Garrett Nussmeier, I think, had his best game of the season post the Clemson game this past week, or last weekend, against Vanderbilt. John Mateer was looking more and more like himself against South Carolina. Darian Menza had a great game against Georgia Tech, even though Duke fell short of that one, giving away that game. And then Taylon Green played well against Texas A&M despite the loss. And you looked at the bottom guys. Josh Hoover played well. 3 touchdowns against Baylor in a matchup against Sawyer Robertson, 2 of the guys that I consider to be 2 of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. And then Jade Mayava was not the best out of this top 10, but he still threw 2 touchdowns in a loss to Notre Dame this past week. I keep saying this past weekend, 2 weeks ago, because this past weekend, I would not say that the level of play was the same. I'm not going to say that, but what I really enjoy about this week's list as opposed to some of the other lists that we've seen throughout the year is that there's new people in here. We have 3 new faces in this top 10. 2 of them have never even been in the top 10s before. We've mentioned them numerous times throughout the process in regards to the honorable mention section, but now they're finally in the top 10, and we have a new face coming in that's not necessarily 100% new, but he hasn't been in the top 10 for a very, very long time. We will talk about those guys here in a little bit, but first we got to go over the honorable mention section. Carson Beck comes in first again. Honorable mention section is just in alphabetical order. It's no other order. It's not ranked on how they would, like Carson Beck's 11, next guy's 12. It's not that. It's just ranked on last name or put together by last name. So Carson Beck comes in the honorable mention section, 21 of 28, 189, a touchdown, 0 picks, which is way better than his 4 interception performance that he had against Louisville. That's way better. We need to see these types of performances from Carson Beck, but I wasn't ready to put him straight back in the top 10 after what we saw against Louisville. It takes a little bit more than one game to get me right on the track of, oh yeah, I didn't just watch you throw 4 interceptions against Louisville. Like, I need to see it more. And against Stanford, I know Florida State went out to Palo Alto and lost that game, but Miami, with them coming to Florida Gate, I can't remember what they're called, Coral Gable, I can't remember what they call it down there, Miami Gardens, coming down there and beating them, that didn't surprise me that much. But it was nice to see Beck play a little bit more consistent, with more efficiency and consistency. You win 42-7, that's awesome. Taylon Green, who we just talked about, comes in at number 8. He was number 8 last week. Comes in the second honorable mention section again. 14 and 22, 268, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. All 3 of which came in the fourth quarter. And all of them led to some sort of point for Auburn. One of them was a pick 6. Another one set up a field goal. And the other one, another touchdown. But that was an offensive touchdown for Auburn. And Arkansas lost the game 33-24. So you lose the game by 9 points. Your quarterback throws 3 interceptions, one of those being a pick 6, and he didn't run the ball particularly well either. 14 rushing yards in the game on 7 carries. Like, Taylon Green can make a lot of really good throws that not a lot of other quarterbacks can make in college football when everything's in time. He's a very unique prospect in regards to the size that he has mixed with the athleticism. He's a long strider at the quarterback position. We talked about it last week. how hard he is to track down and get good angles on him because he's such a long strider and he's as fast and athletic as he is. But you can't have 3 interceptions in a game like this and lose by 9 points at home in a game where you and Auburn were competing for your first conference win of the season. And neither one of Auburn nor Arkansas had lost a game in conference play by more than 10 points. So this was a game that should have been right there for the taking for Arkansas, especially with it being at home. And Jackson Arnold got benched in this game. So Auburn's benching their quarterback, and some people out there could go like, well, that's the way it should have been. They should have always benched Jackson Arnold. But regardless, your team you're playing benches their quarterback. You have to go in there at home and take advantage of that, and he didn't, so he comes in the honorable mention section. Josh Hoover was at 9 last week. Did not play well. Did not play well at all. 247 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Didn't have any interceptions, but his road woes this year are something to kind of pay attention to. If you look at Josh Hoover's best games this season, all of them have come at home. And if you're looking at his worst games this season, all of them have been on the road. Now, minus the North Carolina game week 1, was that week 0 or was that week 1 technically? I can't remember exactly, but 2 touchdowns, 1 interception in that game, that's fine. But you look at the other games they played on the road. They played Arizona State, Kansas State, and West Virginia. In those games, he has thrown 4 touchdowns, but he also has 4 interceptions in those games. His lowest number of yards have come in road games. He has 0 games over 300 yards on the road. And he's not throwing with the most consistency and the most efficiency in there as well, like we talked about with Carson Beck earlier. That's what Josh Hoover is struggling with immensely on the road. When he's at home, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But when he's on the road, for whatever reason, it just doesn't necessarily click all the way. 24-39 in this game as well. He comes into the honorable mention section. We have Cole Payton from North Dakota State. The main reason I put Cole Payton here is because I wanted to just throw someone in here a little different. Lefty quarterback, was a very big runner for North Dakota State the past couple years. Cam Miller was there the past however many seasons, so he never really got any chances there. But against South Dakota State, number 1 versus number 2, on the road in Brookings, South Dakota, 243 yards passing, no touchdowns, but he didn't have an interception. He had 117 yards on the ground and 4 rushing touchdowns there as well. He's a guy that kind of screams Taysom Hill. That's what he kind of seems like. If you watch him play, he screams Taysom Hill. And I really could have pinned in Haynes King here or Diego Pavia or whatever, but I just wanted to have some fun here. I want to have some fun. Cole Payton's playing really, really well, and I've always talked about this where it's hard to judge and or scout a quarterback from the likes of North Dakota State and South Dakota State because they're so dominant that it just opens up so many holes in the secondary because they're just pounding the rock the entire time. So naturally, the defenders are going to suck up, which opens more holes over the top. So a lot of these passing touchdowns these teams have are over the top because they're so far sucked in. So it's kind of hard to judge these kind of quarterbacks. But in the game against South Dakota State, your biggest rival on the road, to beat them 38-7 and have 4 rushing touchdowns this game, I think is impressive. So he comes in the honorable mention section. And Sawyer Robertson's the last one on here. 137 yards passing, 2 touchdowns in the game. He also had a rushing touchdown, second rushing touchdown of the season in a 41-20 loss to Cincinnati. They clawed their way back in this game. Baylor really clawed their way back in this one. This was a game where, a lot of people, I'm really struggling here. I think a lot of people would have looked at this game and gone like, okay, Cincinnati's a very good football team. Baylor has a good quarterback, has some good players like Michael Trigg, very good player at tight end. Like they have some good players. The offensive line is not great, but are they going to be able to keep up with how fast Cincinnati runs things? A lot of no huddles with Cincinnati. And you get a touchdown at the last drive of the first half, and you stack that and get a touchdown on the first drive of the second half. Now, missing a 2-point conversion is not necessarily ideal because that puts you behind the 8 ball already, and then missing a second one puts you even further back. So instead of being 14-24, it was 12-24 at the start of the second half. But again, they clawed their way back, held Cincinnati to a field goal on their next drive, get a touchdown on their next drive. Baylor does, 20-27. And then you get a touchdown, Cincinnati does. And then you get a mishap. You get a little bit of a, we'll call it I don't know what you really want to call it. It's a little bit of a mishap on the kick return, fumble recovery. Cincinnati recovers it, scores really quick again. And then as you know, you were down by 7, and guess what? Now it's 41-20, and the game is pretty much done. But Sawyer Robertson, his touchdown to Michael Trigg, the one before halftime, I believe, was very, very impressive. He throws really good when it comes to layering passes in there. He's very good at fitting the ball through tight windows, and when the field's condensed, he's very good at finding holes in the defense in those situations. And I think in that touchdown, you saw it there. And I like that he ran the ball a little bit more. We've talked about this a couple weeks ago where he's just not willing to make plays with his legs, even though he is a good athlete. I'm not sitting here going like, oh, he's like a Taylon Green or something like that, but he's a good enough athlete to where he can pick up games with his legs if he needs to. I just want to see that a little bit more, but his arm is very, very good. And at number 10 on this list is Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. So if you've followed this for the past however many weeks, you would know that the Big 12, I've talked about this 1,000 times, that the Big 12 is very similar, the conference itself is very similar to the quarterback play in it. Like the Big 12 has got some really solid football teams. Really, really solid football teams. And the quarterback landscape of the Big 12 is very similar, where you can go like, there's a very solid group of quarterbacks here, where there's like 4, 5, 6 guys, you go like, man, these guys are really damn good. But in that same breath, there's not enough to where you can look at it and separate between the two. Like you could have somebody say that Josh Hoover's the number one quarterback in the Big 12. You could have someone say Sam Leavitt's the number one quarterback in the Big 12. And in the same breath, you could have someone say Texas Tech's the best team in the Big 12. BYU's the best team in the Big 12. Arizona State's the best team. Houston's the best team in the Big 12. Like there's so many things you could look at in the Big 12 and just have multiple different conversations about what the conference looks like and what's the state of the conference. Like I answered a comment last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. I answered a comment last week. It said, how would you rank the Big 12 quarterbacks? My rankings at that comment, at that point in time, were Hoover, Robertson, Leavitt, Sorsby, and Becht. Those were my 5. That was my top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12. But again, it can fluctuate every single time because the 2 guys that had number 1 and 2 are sitting in the honorable mention section this week in Hoover and Robertson. And that was only 2 weeks ago. Like that's how quickly things change. And not just college football, but mainly in the Big 12. It just feels like the Big 12 is very ebbs and flows throughout college football, where you look at them and go, man, that team's good, but do you actually think they're going to go very far? Probably not. Like I look at all these quarterbacks in the Big 12. They've got some very good quarterbacks. Do I think any of them are first-round guys right now? Not necessarily, but I think there's a couple guys that could creep up into that conversation at some point in time. I'm not necessarily saying this year, it could be next year, but there's some talent there. And we'll talk about another guy here in a little bit. But Sam Leavitt comes in at number 10. 270 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no picks. Did have a fumble in this game. He just completely lost the ball. I don't really know how else to describe it than that. He dropped back to pass, tried to throw it, and then just dropped the ball. And then what made it worse is that, or maybe it made it better for field position purposes, because he went to go pick up the ball and just pushed it forward. Like I think the ball traveled like 16 yards or something like that. 15, 16 yards in the play. Because when Leavitt went to go chase it down, he got hit and he just pushed the ball forward. So it kind of helped in that sense. I'm pretty sure Houston went 3 and out on that drive. And yeah, they lost the game 24-16. They had to come back. It was 24-0 at one point, but they did manage to claw their way back. Leavitt did leave the game twice due to injury. He left the game on the first drive of the game. They missed a field goal on that drive. And then at the end of the game, they got a field goal. He left the game after that. Jeff Sims came in, did throw a touchdown in that game. But Sam Leavitt's going to be out for the season. It was ironic because right as I was finishing this up, I got the update that Sam Leavitt was going to be out for the season. So in reality, could Sam Leavitt have been higher than this? Because as I said before, there are 3 guys in here that haven't been in the top 10 either at all or haven't been in here in a while. So there could be a realistic option where I could put Sam Leavitt at somewhere like 8 and been fine with that. But if he's not going to play the rest of the year, I don't want to stick him up that high. So I kept him at 10 because I thought he deserved a spot back in the top 10, but I didn't want to throw him up that high because of the injury, if that makes sense. He was already going to miss the game against Iowa State. We knew that going in, but now it's the season. So that kind of, I've talked about this before, about like, I'm very confident that Sam Leavitt's going to come back next year, and now I'm even more confident because there's no way he's going to go to the NFL right now coming off an injury where he hasn't played the last half of the season. Obviously he's not. I'm intrigued to see how that affects Arizona State because we saw what happened against Utah when Jeff Sims went in, but he did throw a touchdown in this game against Houston, so we'll see how it goes. But Sam Leavitt, my biggest problem with him this season is that he looks like his brain is moving 1,000 miles an hour, and that can sometimes be a good thing, but more often than not, when you're playing the quarterback position, it can make things a little bit too chaotic, and early in the season, we saw him kind of trying to do too much, trying to make a play or making something a little bit harder than it needs to be. Like, I remember there was a game against, it wasn't the Mississippi State, whatever game was after Mississippi State, Texas State, I believe it was, where he's trying too much, where he can just hit the underneath route, but he rolls out for some unbeknownst reason and tries to throw it down the field, and the pass gets broken up. When he could have just made the easy play or tries to pick it up with his legs, and he's a very good athlete, and he can make things happen a lot better than a lot of other quarterbacks in college football. But his feet are constantly moving. He never stands still in the pocket, and he's got a really good arm. Like when he uncorks one, he's got one of the strongest arms in college football. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation at rolling out to his right and throwing well on the run. Like, I'm not sitting here going like he's bad at making these crazy plays, or like we need to hold him back a little bit because that's what got him to this point in the first place. But Sam Leavitt has been making throws that he wouldn't even have thought of last year. And what I think is really nice from him at this point in the season is that he has 3 interceptions, yes, but all 3 of those came in the first 2 games of the season. He had 1 against Northern Arizona and 2 against Mississippi State. And he's gone back to being smarter with the football or being safer with the football. And I think this game against Houston, with Jordan Tyson being out, Jordan Tyson is responsible for 49% of Arizona State's catches and targets. 49% go to Jordan Tyson. And that makes perfect sense because Jordan Tyson is one of the best receivers in college football. He's going to probably be the first wide receiver taken in the draft unless Carnell Tate has something to say about it. Like, he's probably going to be in that conversation. Or not conversation, he's going to be in that conversation. He'll probably be the number 1 guy. So having him not play, I think it was a big thing to see what Leavitt could do. And they lost this game, but this game, they didn't lose this game because of Sam Leavitt. Their kicker missed 2 field goals in this game. They had a touchdown wiped off the board because of an illegal shift penalty. Like, there were things that happened in this game for Arizona State. And then the fumble happened, obviously, that you could look at and go like, man, if these things went right, then maybe they could make this game a little bit more interesting than what it did. But again, Leavitt made some really good plays throughout the course of the game. He made a decent amount of throws down the middle of the field. There were some strikes there into McClain, and completely blanking on the other receiver that he had there. I'm completely blank. Hamilton. He was thrown across the middle to Hamilton and got a nice 16-yard game, Jaron Hamilton, and then gets the touchdown pass, or what should have been a touchdown pass, to Matier, and he had a one-handed catch there, which is more of a great play by the tight end rather than a great throw from Leavitt. But still, and you look at his 41-yard pass to McClain in the second half. 4th and 5. Houston sends pressure. He sees this receiver in press man coverage with the defender giving an inside shade. That's an easy throw. You know he's running a fade route, and you see all the pressure coming in. That's the easiest read in the book right there. Just wait for him to get a little bit of separation or throw him open, and you'll get a massive play out of it. And that's what Leavitt, exactly what happened. He took a massive shot after letting that ball go. Took a massive shot from the defender coming around the left side. But he stood tall in the pocket. Leavitt is just a gamer. I've said that 1,000 times before. Leavitt is a gamer, and it sucks that he's not going to be playing the rest of the season, but I wanted to give him a shout in this list, so coming in at number 10. Number 9. If you would have said this name before the season started, I might not have believed you that this was a real person. Trinidad Chambliss from UCLA, from Ole Miss, comes in at number 9. 24-44, 315, 1 touchdown, no picks, 53 yards on the ground, in a 34-26 win over Oklahoma. I think everybody and their mom knows about the story of Trinidad Chambliss at this point. Was at Ferris State, won a national championship, was the conference player of the year, 1,000 yards rushing, 2,900 yards passing, had 25 rushing touchdowns in his final season at Ferris State. And when he came into Ole Miss, I don't think a lot of people were really expecting anything from him. I don't think a lot of people were doing that because we saw what Austin Simmons looked like last year. I mean, the game that we remember most of the game against Georgia, when Jackson Dart went down with the ankle injury, and he comes in and looks very solid. Went 5 or 6 for 50 or 60 yards passing in that game. Like, he looked very solid. You're like, okay, Lane Kiffin's got his guy. And ironically, the injury that lost Austin Simmons, I say lost him his job, it opened the door for Chambliss because Austin Simmons wasn't playing very good prior to Chambliss taking over. I mean, he had 3 or 4 touchdowns and 3 or 4 interceptions through 2 games of the season. Like, it wasn't like Austin Simmons was lighting the world light. And I do think it's weird, though, speaking on Austin Simmons, is that Lane Kiffin put him in twice in the red zone in this game to throw the ball. I don't know why. Or 2-point conversion. Like, I don't know why they did that. And you see coaches do that a lot. Maybe not a lot, but you see coaches do it sometimes where they try to get too smart or try to overthink things and like, oh, the defense would expect us to put Austin Simmons in. Well, yeah, because he's not better than Trinidad Chambliss, the guy you have at quarterback, who's one of the top 10 guys who can win the Heisman Trophy right now. And Chambliss wasn't the most efficient, going 24 of 44. There were a couple plays in the series in this game where he'd throw 2 or 3 straight incompletions. They'd be forced to punt the ball away. But when they needed a play from him on third down, I want to say he picked up about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 third down conversions in this game, whether it be with his legs or whether it be with his arm. Like, Chambliss was making some really great throws. The first drive of the game, it wasn't a third down situation. It was 2nd and 8, but 25-yard strike down the middle of the field to Caden Lee, just right in a spot where he could get in. Great job by Lee at holding onto the ball through the contact as well. You have another 25-yard pass to Trey Wallace outside, post corner route. Perfect spot, perfect position to make a throw. Just the perfect position of the pass, I mean. Then you look at his 21-yard pass to Trey Wallace again on the slant route. Like, these kind of plays, you get a 15-yard run, back-to-back third down conversions, back-to-back third down and 10 conversions, 21-yard pass to Wallace, 15-yard run on 3rd and 10 to get them down to the 5-yard line. And then you get his pass to Lee later in the game on the rollout, corners in coverage, got a safety in behind the receiver. If he throws that thing a little bit too far outside, corner's making a play on that ball. He throws it exactly where it should have been, hitting Caden Lee right in a spot, making a nice little jump catch, not like a major jump or anything, but at his head, like fitting it right through the window. Like that's what you want to see from your quarterbacks, and Chambliss might not be an insanely high draft pick. He might not be an insanely high draft pick, but there's not a lot of more fun quarterbacks I've watched this year than Chambliss in this game against Oklahoma. He is fearless. Absolutely fearless. He was zipping the ball all over the field, whether it was post-corner routes, whether it was rollouts and hitting receivers on the rollout, whether it's throwing down the middle of the field, whether it's a dig route or a vert. Like, it didn't matter what the play was. And then you look at his passing touchdown in the game. It was just an 8-yard passing touchdown to his tight end, but he steps back in the pocket, defenders around him, he steps up a little bit, does a little jump throw to his tight end. It was an easy walk-in touchdown. His 43-yard pass to Watkins later in the game as well kind of put the final nail in the coffin. 6:50 left in the game. Down the sideline. Dot. And he does a great job looking out the safety. Safety goes over to the left side of the formation anyways, but he does a good job at holding the safety over there for a half second longer so it frees up Watkins down the field. Like, Chambliss is maybe 6 foot tall. Maybe he's 6 foot tall. And he's not like this, I don't say elite athlete. He is not like a Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels in regards to that. Like, oh, he's here and he's gone like that. Like, you know, in SpongeBob, where he's like, you want to see me run that rock, want to see you do it again? That's not Chambliss, but Chambliss is so shifty and elusive. It's so hard to bring down in the open field and so effective when he runs that it makes him damn near impossible to stop. And when he gets in a rhythm, he's damn near impossible to stop there as well when he's throwing the football. He is perfect for what Lane Kiffin wants to do on the soft side of the ball, and I loved what I saw from him against Oklahoma. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was an absolutely awesome game to watch. Again, 24-44, not necessarily the most ideal, but he's had a great season. And given where he was at the start of the year as the backup to a guy where nobody really knew who he was, to now being a guy that we're talking about as being a dark horse Heisman candidate, and at least being in the conversation. I'm not saying he's going to win or even get invited to New York, but at least we're having a conversation about it. He's played awesome this year, and I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the year. But number 8 on this list is Brendan Sorsby, who, again, this is what we talked about Sam Leavitt. A couple weeks ago, my top 5 quarterbacks in the Big 12 were Hoover, Robertson, Leavitt, Sorsby, and Becht. Right now, it is Sorsby, Leavitt, Hoover, Robertson. Actually, no, Robertson played better than Hoover this week. So you go Sorsby, Leavitt, Robertson, Hoover, Becht. That's my top 10. That's my top. You could even put Connor Wegman in there, which I think is crazy how good Connor Wegman's been for Houston so far this season. Just no hype around him. Because remember how much hype there was around him when he was at Texas A&M, last year, and how fast he fell off there. But he's just playing kind of under the radar and playing really well for a very good Houston Cougars team. But Brendan Sorsby comes in. He was my number 4 Big 12 quarterback going into the season. And what's been so awesome with Brendan Sorsby is that he's kind of gone under the radar that to where you could look at him and go, I don't even know what you really want to call it. Again, we could talk about dark horse Heisman candidate. If you're looking at the numbers, if you're looking just the numbers, Brendan Sorsby, 1,800 yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. That 1 interception came week 1 against Nebraska. And he also has 425 yards on the ground with 7 touchdowns there as well as for a 7-1 Cincinnati Bearcats team. He is playing ridiculously well. And we said before the season is that he's got the size, he's got the arm strength you need for the NFL level. It's just a matter of if he can play with that consistency. Because remember, we talked about before the season started, that back half of last year, he kind of tailed off. And we wanted to see him play with that consistency. And so far this year, we have seen that in droves as he's been one of the best quarterbacks in college football. In this game against Baylor, 13 of 21, 111, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Like, not insane numbers that will, like, oh my God, he threw for 111 yards. And he had 85 yards on the ground rushing as well with a touchdown. Led Cincinnati in rushing. Had a rushing touchdown in there where he absolutely snatched Baylor defenders' ankles and then high-stepped his way into the end zone. Like, Sorsby is playing with a lot of confidence right now. And one thing I love about Brandon Sorsby is his arm arrogance, I guess we can call it. I think it's the best thing to say it, call it, because he thinks, and I said this before the season started as well, and you could say the same thing with like John Mateer even. He thinks he can make every single throw in the football field, and Brendan Sorsby's got the arm to do that. He's absolutely got the arm to do it. There was one throw he had in this game. It was a 19-yard pass to Allen, one of his receivers. He's dropping back to backs. He's fading away. Allen's running a 19-yard post-corner route, and he throws it perfectly in a spot where Allen could get it on the sideline. He's fading back while he's throwing it and just puts it right in a perfect spot. You could see him doing that against Oklahoma State a couple weeks ago as well. just so casually just flips the ball down the field. It's so damn effortless. Even his touchdown pass down, it was his second touchdown, sorry. It was only a 6-yard touchdown pass. But he just got the ball out so quick. Allen runs a quick out in the end zone, 6 yards out. And Sorsby puts it exactly where Allen needs it. Puts it in a spot where only he can get it. And I did throw a play in from Sorsby where he had an 8-yard pass to Johnson. And it's not an impressive pass. I mean, it's an 8-yard pass. It's a hitch route. He gets the ball out quick. He lets it go before Johnson exits its break. But the main reason I put it in there is because I couldn't tell if he was doing a no-look pass or not. I just thought it was funny. So I kind of just put it in there because I've watched it about 100 times. And I can't tell if he's doing a no-look pass or not. Maybe I was tired when I was writing that part, and I just like, oh, maybe he threw a no-look pass there. Because I wrote this really late last night. So it's been a little, I was probably sleep deprived there. But he's just so effortless when he throws the football. It's so effortless. He's such a good athlete in there as well. And like we've talked about before, very hard to bring down. He's a good-sized individual. 6'3", 230 pounds. Can run. Very, very strong arm. Very effortless motion. Ball snaps out of his hand like that. He's just playing so well. And right now, I didn't even mention Cincinnati before, but they could be another team that you mentioned in the upper echelons of the Big 12 this year. Again, so you're looking at Houston, BYU, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, and your quarterbacks are Sorsby, Levitt, Robertson, Hoover, Becht, Morton. I know Morton's hurt, but Wegman. There's so many good teams and quarterbacks in the Big 12. You're just waiting for that one guy to separate himself. And I think right now, based off what I saw against Baylor and some of the clips that I've seen prior to this game, you could say that Brendan Sorsby has separated himself to a certain extent. I'm not going to say it's like astronomical, but he's separated himself up to this point from the rest of the quarterbacks in the Big 12. And I want to be careful when I say that because I don't want to make it sound like if let's say hypothetically Hoover or Robertson pass him next week. I'm not sitting here going like it's an insurmountable lead that Brendan Sorsby has. It's not. I'm not saying that at all. But right now, I thought what I saw this weekend, again, the numbers weren't like eye-watering or anything, or eye-popping, but it was good stuff, good throws, good plays with the run. It was just awesome to watch. Number 7, we got Darian Mensah. He was on a bye this week. They play Clemson, so we'll have to talk about him next week. Number 6, I have Garrett Nussmeier. This game was hard because I was intrigued to see how Nussmeier and LSU would do after what we saw against Texas A&M last year. Because they went to Kyle Field, were leading at halftime, second half happened, they bench Connor Wegman, Marcel Reed comes in, the whole game's changed. Garrett Nussmeier throws 3 interceptions in the second half, a couple bad ones in there as well, and they lose the game massively. This game had a very similar feel to it, maybe not with the interceptions from Nussmeier, because he didn't throw one in this game, but just the feeling of, man, they are just getting their asses kicked. And they were leading 18-14 in the second half, or going into the second half, and the first drive of the fourth quarter, it's 42-18. Like, what the hell happened in this game? And Nussmeier, I loved his throw to Brown. I loved his throw. He had a 41-yard pass to Baron Brown in the second quarter, late in the second quarter. You can't even really see when Brown makes the catch because it's just an inch-perfect throw. Nussmeier just chucks it up to him in stride and everything, defender all over Brown, and he's able to bring it in. He had a nice little touchdown pass to Trey'Daz Green as well, and Trey'Daz Green is one of those guys who you can just put it in the area code and he'll come down with it. He's 6'7", former basketball player. They said on the broadcast he's always open. He pretty much always is. He always is. He's just a massive individual, just a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. We saw how good they were against, I believe it was South Carolina a couple weeks ago, like how good the pairing was there, and they're just going to keep growing as the season goes on, but Nussmeier got beat up. Cassius Howell was in the backfield all the frickin' time in this game. Like, it was ridiculous. Nussmeier just got beat up. He started a drive at the end of the game and then got pulled from Michael Van Buren. And they ended up scoring a touchdown in this game. And LSU lost the game finally by a score of 49-25. Like, it was... Nussmeier, I thought, made some decent enough plays. But the defensive line was in the backfield before the ball was sometimes. And I think Nussmeier, coming out the game against Vanderbilt, I wanted to see how I was more interested to see how he would react comparatively to what he did last year. And I thought he played better than what he did last year, but that's not really that hard to do with the 3 interceptions. But I thought he made some impressive throws in that game that I didn't really see in this rendition of this quote-unquote rivalry, if you want to call it. So, I don't know. It was hard to watch from an LSU perspective, but he drops down one spot to number 6. And then number 5, John Mateer. Top 5 for John Mateer. It's the first time he's been in the top 5 since week 5. Now we're week 9, finally back in there. Been at number 6 for a while now. Now he's at number 5, and I thought he played well. against Ole Miss. Missed some throws in this game. I'm not going to sit here and say he was perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but 17-31, 223, 1 touchdown, no picks, which is always a plus. I always want to see John Mateer not throw interceptions. We want to see that touchdown-interception ratio grow. We want to see it grow. 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions is not ideal. It's not. But we just want to keep seeing that grow from this point on. But John Mateer is just, this is the closest we've seen to quote-unquote John Mateer since the Auburn game. Like, you look at his throw to Santanga earlier in the game. 39-yard pass, to Santanga. He's in the slot. They run the little hitch. Crap, I'm completely blanking. Slot receiver runs the go route, and he just hits it right over top. And then one play that I was really impressed by Mateer, and it's a very, underrated play. I don't know if it gets talked about enough. Or at least maybe I haven't seen it. It was a 76-yard touchdown pass to Santanga. And I'm not sitting here going like, oh, it's a 76-yard touchdown. Yeah, if I say that, you're like, oh, well, of course they talked about it. But what I like about this play, was that it was 3rd and 3. Santanga's route stops in the middle of the field. They were looking to set up a play to where Santanga would just be the open guy right in the middle of the field, and Mateer would check down to him right beyond the line of scrimmage, right beyond the first down marker. But Mateer's directing traffic, telling Santanga to keep carrying his route outside. And Santanga does that, and Mateer lets it go, leads him to the sideline, and he cuts up the field and scores an easy 76-yard touchdown. Like, that's what I love seeing. It's the little things like that where you can see the quarterback telling the receiver where to go, and it eventually leads with the touchdown. Even though that's not where the route was supposed to go, he tells him, hey, go outside, and we'll hook up for a touchdown here. It was a great play. Great play. It wasn't like an insanely flashy throw by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a great heads-up play from Mateer to know the situation, know that if you go outside, we have a chance for a touchdown here. Just go out, because I'm not hitting you in there. You're my favorite receiver. You're our fast receiver. Just go out. And he does. And you get a touchdown out of it. Gets a nice 15-yard pass to Burks as well. Rolls out to his right. Zips it down the sideline in a spot where only his receiver can get it. Great throw. You get a 16-yard run by him later in the game. It's just a rough read from Mateer. I mean, it's an RPO. So normally, you're reading the linebacker. Most of the time, you're reading the linebacker. And the linebacker crashes. You pull it, dump it off to the slant route. But this one, it's a more extended route. So it's a post route. So in that case, you're reading the safety. John Mateer doesn't read the safety, because the safety doesn't even move. I guess he slides a little bit to the right. To his right, John Mateer's left. Like, he does slide a little bit, I guess, in that aspect. But apart from that, there was not enough to read it and pull it. But when you have a play like that and it breaks down, the last thing you want to do is force the issue and try to, overcorrect something. And John Mateer just calmly gets outside the pocket, and he makes a play for a first down. Gets a 16-yard gain on second down. I believe it was second down anyways. But he's able to pick up 16 yards on the ground, get them all the way down to the 12-yard line. That's a good play. You look at this throw to Robinson out of the backfield as well. Robinson's defender falls over. He zips it over to him. He gets it there right before the defender can get to him. Mateer wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think he did enough in this game to warrant a spot, moving up a spot in this week's rankings. So he comes in at number 5. Lenore Sellers comes in at number 4. I thought he played well against Alabama. 18 of 32, 222, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The pick was unfortunate. It was just a really unfortunate play. Tried to hit his back out of the backfield. First down, bounces right off his chest. He tries to just hit a check down. He's in the flat. He's getting pressured, tries to check it down, and the running back bounces off his chest. He tries to bobble it, tries to catch it, bobbles it, lands right in the arm of the Alabama defender, gets an easy touchdown. Pick 6. Just awesome stuff there. That's what you love to see. But rolling out, get a nice 14-yard pass to Hunt. What I think I love about Lenore Sellers right now is that he's playing within himself. He's not forcing the issue as much. You get that when he's running the ball, because he tries to make a little too much stuff happen in the backfield, and sometimes he takes bad sacks, but sometimes as well, I would say more often than not, it's the defensive line getting to the backfield before he even has the ball from center. But you look at his nice 22-yard pass to his younger brother. Get him down the field on 4th and 12. Very solid throw. You look at his pass to Nick Harbor. Post route. Nick Harbor burns his defender. Nick Harbor is one of the most athletic wide receivers in college football, and he just launches it up to him. Get a nice 12-yard run in there as well. You get the 10-yard touchdown run there later in the game as well. He probably should have given it. Defensive end linebacker didn't crash, but when you're Lenore Sellers, and you got a quarterback Lenore Sellers, you can afford to do that because you're the hardest quarterback to bring down in all of college football in the open field. If I'm seeing Lenore Sellers versus a linebacker in the open field, I'm going to probably take Lenore Sellers more often than not. Now, that being said, he did have a fumble in the game, which came at the most inopportune time ever. Alabama gets down the field and scores, ties the game up. Now South Carolina's got about 2 minutes, 30 seconds left to drive down the field and kind of just to ice the game. Because they're going to get in field goal range, going to make it, you're going to win, it's going to be awesome, storm the field. All the students are pushing up. They're at the wall. They've pushed up to sit there and storm the field. And you know what happened? Lenora Sellers tries to run it, gets brought down, in the pile, gets stripped of the ball. Alabama recovers. Alabama wins the game. It went from South Carolina's going to win this game and beat Alabama. Alabama's beat 4 straight top 25 teams. And they're going to go into South Carolina and lose. And there were a lot of people that were kind of, I'll talk about South Carolina's defense here in a little bit, but it was just a rough way to end the game for Sellers. Because I did think he played a good game. Got the interception, was unfortunate, but the fumble, just not ideal. And it was the same, like we talked about Nussmeier before, it just had the same feel as what we had last year when Alabama almost and probably should have lost to South Carolina. You could say the same thing about this year's game. And it sucks that we have to be here again, but yeah, here we are. But Lenore Sellers comes in at number 4. Number 3 is Dante Moore. There's not really a lot to talk about with Dante Moore. He left the game early in the second half. 21-7 was the final there. 9 of 15, 86 yards passing, no touchdowns, no picks. He played a half in a drive and then got punched in the face pretty much and had a bloody nose. I don't know if it was a broken nose, bloody nose, whatever. They haven't really said anything unless I've missed it. But it was a rainy, wet game, but he still made some good plays here and there. Like he had a nice 20-yard pass to McClellan early in the game. He had a nice 18-yard pass to McClellan again. It was both to McClellan. I didn't even realize that. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I started talking before I read who he threw it to. But I thought the backup quarterback came in and looked really good. I'm not going to lie. I think the backup quarterback came in and looked good. But it was a messy game. I'm not going to lie. Regardless if Dante Moore was being in or not, I did think Oregon would handle this game a little bit better than what they did. I mean, I watched Iowa beat Wisconsin 37-0. I watched Ohio State beat Wisconsin 34-0. And Oregon at home, again, I understand it was wet, but you're in Eugene, Oregon. I would hope you'd play better in the rain. But 21-7, like I was ready to count down the games of when Wisconsin was going to score again. Like I was very confident, or not very confident, but there was a chance that we could have watched Wisconsin not score a single point for the remainder of the season, post-Iowa game. Like that would have been so funny to watch. As an Iowa fan, that would have been beautiful to see Wisconsin not score a single point the rest of the year. I know it was very unlikely, but I didn't think the first points they would score would be against Oregon. Like that kind of surprised me. But again, Dante Moore didn't play the second half. They play Iowa in 2 weeks. That's going to be awesome. They got a bye week this week, so I guess they don't really need to say anything about Dante Moore, but he comes in at number 3. Fernando Mendoza comes in at number 2. Had a pick early in the game. Ball got batted at the line of scrimmage, lands in the arm of the defender. Unfortunate. First try of the game for UCLA was a pick 6 with the ball getting batted at the line of scrimmage. So, what comes around goes around. But Mendoza, it was an easy game. It was your typical Indiana football game where they just beat the crap out of a team. 56-6 was the final. 15-22, 168, 3 touchdowns, 1 picks. Also had 45 yards on the ground. That was what most impressive was, that we haven't seen Fernando Mendoza run a lot this year, which is good. I mean, he doesn't need to. I mean, Indiana runs so many quick pass plays that they don't really need him to ad-lib or, like, get outside the pocket and roll out and, like, pick up big gains on the ground. They don't need him to do that. You had to do that at Cal, but at Indiana, he hasn't really needed to do that, which is fantastic. But he got a 20-yard touchdown run in there. Tried the slant, gets to the outside. Like, Fernando Mendoza is not some standard pocket quarterback that's just a meat statue in the backfield. Fernando Mendoza can make plays with his legs. He had a couple 20-plus yard runs while he was at Cal last year. Like, he can make a lot of good plays with his legs when he needs to, but his arm is one of the best in college football, so you would like him to just go, oh yeah, we're going to throw it with his arm. Like, he had a 62-yard touchdown pass to E.J. Williams. E.J. Williams, credit to him, great job adjusting his route and giving Mendoza someone to throw to down the field once he realized his quarterback got outside the pocket. And he had his touchdown pass earlier, 2-yard touchdown pass to E.J. Williams. Right before halftime, rolls out to his left, fits a ball into E.J. Williams against his body, and gets for a touchdown there. Get a 30-yard pass to E.J. Williams again later in the game. Steps up in the pocket, rolls to his left a little bit, slides to his left. E.J. Williams wide open down the field. Great play. Like, Fernando Mendoza right now, you could have realistically said, yeah, he's number 1. But I kept him at number 2 because this week I didn't think Ty Simpson did enough to lose the spot. Do I think Ty Simpson played great against South Carolina this past weekend? No. 24 of 43, 253, 2 touchdowns. Similar-ish numbers. A little less passing yards, but similar-ish numbers, completions, attempts, touchdowns to Trinidad Chambliss that we talked about before against Oklahoma. But South Carolina, I think it kind of went under the radar. South Carolina can make plays on defense. They're not the greatest defense of all time, but they're not some, like, pushover defense. They can make you pay. And they're going to. And against Alabama, they might have not gotten an interception, but they forced a fumble out of Ty Simpson in this game. But I think what was impressive from Ty Simpson, and there was a lot of drops in this game. Whether it was Bernard, whether it was Ryan Williams, whether it was Horton, they just had a bunch of drops. The roughest one was to Ryan Williams. That one was by far the roughest. It was 4th and 1. You're up 14-6. Drop back to pass, pressure all around him. Defender's coming around the edge, gets it off right before the defender can swat the ball down in the backfield. Ryan Williams runs right underneath it, open, great throw, and he just drops it. Like, I don't really know how to explain it other than that. He just flat out dropped it, and it sucked because it was a great play. Simpson would also have a 13-yard pass to Jeremy Bernard, pump faked it, got the defender to leave his feet and fired it right as he was landing back on the ground. Like, I just love plays like that. I just love little plays like that. He had also a couple run plays in here. Had a 9-yard run in here where he bounced off a couple tacklers. Defender trying to rip the ball out. He holds onto it with both hands and gets a first down, or close to a first down. I guess he didn't technically get the first down, but he came close to getting a first down. He had a 41-yard pass to Hill. Rolls out to his right. Gets the defender to suck in. Dumps it off to Hill over top. Got an 18-yard pass to Ryan Williams. Steps in the pocket. Fires it down the middle of the field. Ty Simpson, we've talked about 1,000 times before, is the best quarterback in the country when it comes to throwing down the middle of the field. He is absolutely fearless when it comes to getting out, when it comes to throwing down the field. Down the middle of the field. He had a really good pass to Ryan Williams early in the game, rolls out to his left, throws against his body, hits Ryan Williams perfectly on the sideline, 23-yard gain, or 25-yard gain, sorry. Like, did Ty Simpson play great or perfect in this game against South Carolina? No, not in the slightest. But I don't think he did enough to warrant dropping down a spot because I don't think I thought Mendoza made some great plays, especially with his legs. I thought he made some great throws. You look at a couple throws to E.J. Williams in this game. But I think overall, Ty Simpson just keeps the number one spot. And if you have like Mendoza or Sellers or Dante Moore at number one, I can completely understand that. I completely understand it. But right now, I'm keeping Simpson here, and I think it's his spot for this because I don't foresee him losing this spot next week because they don't play. So we got a decent amount of buys this week in the top for just guys in the top 10. Like Alabama doesn't play this week. Oregon doesn't play this week. Then we have, I believe, who was there? There was a couple other ones that I thought I saw in here. LSU does not play this week. Then he got, was that it? Was those the only ones that were there? Oh my God, I think they were. Oh, Levitt's not playing this week, so I guess you could count that. So we have 4 people not playing. So we're going to have a new one in the top 10 anyways because Levitt's going to drop out because he's hurt for the season. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, that is the top 10 quarterbacks from week 9. A recap here. Honorable mention section, we have Carson Beck, Taylon Green, Josh Hoover, Cole Payton, and Sawyer Robertson. Again, could have had Haynes King, could have had Diego Pavia, could have had a lot of different guys here, but I wanted to put Cole Payton here for fun. Arizona State, Sam Levitt comes in at number 10. Arizona State travels to Iowa State, or travels to Ames to take on the Iowa State Cyclones, but again, it'll be Jeff Sims under center there. We got Trinidad Chambliss coming in at number 9. Him and Ole Miss take on South Carolina this coming weekend. At number 8, Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati will take on number 24 Utah in Salt Lake City. So that's going to be awesome. That's an awesome game. Top 25 matchup there. Great game. And playing in Utah is scary. It's a scary environment to play in. So Brendan Sorsby comes in at 8. Darian Mensah comes in at number 7. They go on to Clemson to take on the Tigers. Then you got number 6, Garrett Nussmeier. Him and LSU are on a bye. Number 5, John Mateer. Him and the Oklahoma Sooners taking on number 14, Tennessee. And Tennessee, though they're ranked 14th, they had the number 2 worst scoring defense, number 2 worst total defense, and the worst passing defense of the conference. So we could, between John Mateer and Jesus Aguilar, we could have a very good barn-burning action here down in Knoxville. Could be really fun. Lenore Sells comes in at number 4. Him and the Gamecocks take on number 7, Ole Miss on the road. Then we got Dante Moore. Him and the Ducks are on a bye this week. Number 2, we got Fernando Mendoza. Him and Indiana travel to Maryland to take on the Terrapins. Number 1, we got Ty Simpson. Him and the Crimson Tide are on a bye. They play LSU in 2 weeks' time. So, or a week from now, I guess. A week from tomorrow, I guess. So, yep, that's the top 10 quarterback prospect rankings from week 9. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did not, I sincerely apologize and try to be better next time. Make sure to check out, again, all the links down in the description below, whether it be the podcast links or the blog post. Again, the blog post will have way more in-depth analysis than I will talking because I'm just kind of doing a summary of the blog post. But I would greatly appreciate if you guys went to go check that out. Again, all the links down in the description below. Make sure to check those out. I've been Logan Blackman, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.